It's coronavirus. We're live. It looks like we're live, Steve.
Camera's weird.
Why?
I don't know. It's the laptop camera. It's weird.
So let's see here if they're gonna. We'll be able to see the people on. See, I didn't get notification though. Did you? Yeah, I just did.
No, not yet.
So I guess. Yeah, it looks like we're there. I guess. But I don't know if see it says one person. Okay, so it gives us about the same thing as. Oh boy, I guess there's a delay. I don't know.
No idea.
We'll wait for everybody. Oh, 9 people viewing it. Yeah, I went from 1 to 9, and I can't see the people.
I don't see it. I'm like a guest, right? So I'm one of those 9.
Can you open up your phone? You see, I got all. See now the comments have loaded. Guys, how do you like the? Guys, we're trying the StreamYard. I'm getting. Yes. This is my.
Channeling this inner Poli.
I like that. I like that.
I see all the comments. It's crazy. It's good.
Maybe you
good,
should...
boys.
All right, guys. So we're trying to figure this one out.
But I don't see them in the chat, though. Oh, wait. Hold on. I'm in the wrong chat. Maybe if I go to live comments. Now I see them.
Now you see all the chats?
Yeah. Roberto Peluso.
Is that a authentic Pioli turtle? Of course it is. Look like a lounge singer. This is the coronavirus hair. Don't care. Thank you, Frank. And I'm sure everybody, Steve, wants to know, did you watch WrestleMania? Too big for one night, Saturday and Sunday? Did you watch WrestleMania?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Anyways. All right, guys. So we're trying this out. It looks like it's working. Let us know, because right now
I'm talking to you people straight in your house.
I guess there'll be a bit of delay with the comments and everything. So, Steve, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm gonna let you do whatever you want with Presidente, because I know this week he kind of burned this week a little bit, just a little bit. I wonder what he's gonna do for church. If only I can have straight hair like Vinny. Thank you, Edwin. Look at that. All right, you ready, Steve?
I'm ready.
Let's get the show on the road. Go your own way. Well, not really in these times. Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast. Here we talk everything Milan, even in these trying times, Milan. Go ahead and take away my pay, Milan. And we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be.
Guys, this is like revolutionary. even Tapi was even in the comments, guys. We Presidente has discovered this application. Obviously, it's the free version.
Best comment ever. Already it started. I look like I work at McDonald's drive-thru. Can I take your order, please?
And I have my guys who had reserved. This was a special gift for Steve and I for our birthdays. I bought him. This is the Steve. Would you like to? Is this burgundy maroon blood wine turtleneck? Yeah. And I really didn't care to put a hat on because, like you said, coronavirus hair. Don't care. Yeah. But in the end, Steve, I think this is a great way for us to communicate. We're social distancing. Everything. How's your week been?
It's been weekend was nice. Week started off nice today. It was a beautiful day. We were able to take the kids out 3 times, so that gave us a little bit of a break. And the weeks, look, last week was hard, and not only because of work and what's going on, but it's tough. And I will not be one of those people who's going to complain for no reason. I'm lucky to be working. My wife is lucky to be working, and the kids are healthy. We're healthy. Their family's healthy. I have nothing to complain about. If this is my biggest problem, then you know what? I chalk it up as a win.
There we go. So there's the important from there, and keeping positive. And what else is there to do? So Before we reach out to our special guest this week, Steve, and talk a bit about what's going on in this week's Milan stories and general stories, how's Presidente been? I haven't heard him very much, Steve. I know he sends us some messages here and there. I don't know if he's from his live, from his bunker.
He sends just messages that he's complaining about the sound every week.
But
Every single week he complains about the sound. There's coronavirus going around everywhere. People are dying, and he's complaining about the sound of our podcast.
yes, but he says there's been a little peaks and everything, so I guess it's me talking too loud. But in the end, Presidente, once again, no presidential points for this week, and it's okay. This has been he's on been hiatus for what, 2 months now, Steve?
Yeah.
And thanks to Frank calling me an extra from Boogie Nights with the hair and the turtleneck. Thank you very much. Should we give him a call, Steve?
What?
Should we give him a call right now?
Who are we calling?
Guys, we are calling.
What about we're not painting anybody into perspective?
Well, I gave you the opportunity. I thought you were taking the opportunity to bring out your inner Bob Ross.
Oh, no. You got to give me better cues than that.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So, please, Steve, for the entertainment of our live viewers and listeners, bring out your inner Bob Ross and paint us a picture on how we did not get presidential points.
So basically, ladies and gentlemen, Presidente, sound engineer 101. Not only is he a fine-tooth accountant who will dissect every financial statement that is in front of him with the ease of a god, he is also has the ear of an angel. He hears. There's rumors of a secret studio in Mont Tremblant where Bon Jovi goes to record and U2 goes to record, and all these fancy fancy pop artists and rock artists. You know what? There's another one too. It's in La Salle. It's Presidente's house. He has Dolby surround sound, not 3.0. He has 17.32. The doorbell rings at high definition ringtone and bell tone. It's not like a ding dong at the Presidente's house. His doorbell rings ding dong, ding dong. Not too loud, not too soft, very equalized. So no high pitches from Vinny. And you know what? To make Presidente happy, I put on the technical support headset from TELUS so that we could have nice sound. But Vinny, we're going to get probably a complaint about video. Oh, Steve, you look too pale in this video. You look like the beige behind you. Maybe you should paint your walls. Jesus Christ, we're doing a podcast. Presidente didn't have time for the presidential points.
Thank you very much for that. And David wants to know, could one of the group members be a president for a day or a week? David,
of course.
David, you want to be president for the day?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to have all that responsibility.
That's a lot of burden.
It is a lot of burden. But guys, he did get us our special guest, a returning guest. He is Antonio from IFTV. We're going to call him right now. Hopefully he knows how to answer a call on WhatsApp.
Hello?
Buonasera Antonio, it's Vince and Steve.
Buonasera, come stai? Milan Club.
Milan, how are you?
Vince, per l'amor di Dio, time to put the earplugs on.
So what are we going to do? How are we going to connect?
We're already
connected.
Oh yeah? I thought that we were doing a video.
Oh, you want to do live video? I didn't know you. We were just we're live. We're live on YouTube right now, and we wanted to call you and discuss some stuff. Is it okay if we do the call?
Sure. No, that's fine.
How is everything over there, Anton?
Hey, we hang in top over here. New York is ground zero. Some of the people that they fear the situation right now it's like Pearl Harbor. So that means that this week is going to be the crucial week.
Well, hopefully,
for all the New Yorkers, and me, I'm a little scared, to be honest with you, not because of myself. I have a daughter. She's a doctor she's an ER doctor. She's on the front line. So
it must be
she's a tough cookie, though.
She's
not an she's very tough, but I'm so proud of her, But she's doing what she studied for, and I think that's a vocation. They don't stop until they physically they totally drain. But it is what it is.
We'd like to say at least thanks to her, thanks to all the the essential needs workers out there, and I could just imagine what it is for a father to have his daughter there on the front lines. Steve, I know you have a daughter. I could just imagine what that's like.
Yeah, so I wanted to say, Antonio, I commend you, and I tip my hat.
What's your name again?
Vince.
Oh, Vincenzo.
Yeah.
Vincenzo. So we can just openly talk about anything you want. For me, everything is good.
Okay.
Of course. And Milan mi farebbe piacere, però il virus dobbiamo dare. We have to just give our deep thought to all of those people fighting this nasty situation, and let's hope that everybody comes out nice and safe at the end of the. That's like a tunnel. At the end of the day, we're going to see some light coming up from the other side.
Yeah, 100%. And
no, I think so.
I just figured out that we have Steve online, and you cannot hear him when he's asking the questions. So I guess I'm gonna have a comment. He can hear you, and Steve, if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll ask him. We didn't think this went through on this one, unless I call you from. No, never mind. We'll figure it out next time.
Yeah.
Wanted to ask you the news coming out today with questo su stipendo, and they some people were saying, they should cut their whole salary. Now they made a percentage. Where do you stand with all this salary? Would it be in Serie A or any kind of sports? You think that they have a right to be complaining about salaries? Should the owners take care of this? What do you think about all this, Antonio?
I'll tell you my take on this, okay? First of all, I can understand the people that they play on the second and the third division because their salaries are very much, down to, not to nothing, but, all they do is pay the rent for their apartment and they buy themselves a car, go to dinner and, support their family and then get at the end of the year happy that they don't have debt. But the vast majority of players that are playing on the first division in Serie A, they should be cutting their salary, and I agree. Just reducing 1/3 is the least that they can do, and the reduction should be given away to the people that they pay the tickets every day or every Sunday to go watch them, to support them, to cheer for them. What are they going to do when the deposits they're not filling up the stadium? This is the least that they should be doing. Especially the big superstars.
Yeah, it's
those are the ones that they should be cutting their salary. Actually, more than 30%. They should be given 50% and up.
Well,
they really don't need all that money.
They were saying some scenarios about maybe if the season would restart Agosto, all these different types of scenarios. But what do you think? We're not playing any Calcio Serie A until next year. What do you think of all this?
I gotta tell you something. I am not pessimistic, but I'm not optimistic at the same time. Let me just give you my take. The vast majority of the stadiums in Italy. Look at the San Siro. We are Milanisti. We are big AC Milan fans. We born with the black and red stripes on our body. But look San Siro. Look Napoli. Look Roma. Juventus. They the last few years they got the stadiums. And they are getting a lot of revenues from stadium, but the vast majority of what's his name, the Sampdoria in Genova, they have a beautiful stadium. Actually, believe it or not, I worked with the architect that designed the stadium that just recently died, maybe 2 weeks ago, Greg Gotti. So anyway, he was my professor in Venice when I studied architecture in Italy. Just to bring back this idea of those, what we have over here, we have a major problem. I don't know if you can go back to when we did Italia 90. We had nothing but the best designers addressing the issue of lo stadio come capacità. I'm going to translate in English. I mean, how many spectators can we put into the stadium? Because our assumption was never to have the one-on-one relationship between the spectators and the players, like in the English Premier League, for example. They are ahead of us, like 20 years ahead of us when it comes down to design and project and progettazione, we say in Italiano, for the design of the stadium and all the structure that is around the stadium. Right now, I think with all of the scary virus and all this phobia that is going around in light of this coronavirus, I don't think you're going to see that many people going to the stadium at all. So everybody's going to be relying on the services that you have online. They're going to just subscribe to the service. They're going to be paying their Skype, Sky fee, and they're gonna, this bad time is gonna stay within the Italian tifosi, not just in Italy. It's gonna be all over.
Yeah, it's
so all I think that to go back and to try to connect with the first question that we were discussing, whether the salary should be an automatic reduction about the salary of those the teams that they play on the first division. It's on their best interest, because you do not want the tifosi. This is the main basically is the main. It's like the water for them. Without the tifosi, you don't have the campionato. You can have as many millionaire superstars playing for you, but if the tifosi they're not playing, you can just fold it and just call it and quit altogether right there. Now, just be focusing on who's going to be giving the win for the campionato, whether we should be starting in August or in May, in July. This is all secondary. The life of people is first.
Yeah.
And the only gesture that those guys they can do, and this is again my answer to your question, is the least to reduce their salary of 30% at the minimum, and then give the money to to the Croce Rossa, to the Red Cross, to all of those organizations that they're fighting, and to benefit some of the people that they lost. They lost their lives, they lost relatives, they lost their jobs. The main thing is a lot of those guys that they went to the stadium, they deprived themselves from eating well during the week, so to be able to afford the tickets to get into the game, to watch the game.
Yeah,
so
makes.
I see this is a tragedy. It's a big tragedy.
It's sad. It's sad to say, how we all are in this situation, and some people even bringing up some good comments online saying, whether it be restaurants too or any of these gatherings, it's like, okay, so the coronavirus is going to go away. Okay, next season we start all these sports, and how many people are actually going to want to go to these stadiums? From the fear and all these different type of stuff. It's very hard to do, but in the end, si può parlare di calcio, but in the end, people's lives are at stake, and this is what's the most important. I'm gonna let Steve ask a question. I'm gonna repeat it back to you because unfortunately you can't hear him. Steve, what did you have for Antonio?
No, I didn't have a question, more of a comment. We chatted about this back and forth there, where it's it's always the players. The players have to give. The players have to give. The players have to give. Guys, in the end, I understand they're superstars, but in the end, when it comes to the tifosi and the fans, it's the $1 billion behind the players. The players are like workmen. They're people who show up to work. Yes, they make a lot more money than me and you, but they work. They're doing something that's making these guys who've invested a lot of money, a lot of money. When it comes to the tifosi, the ticket sales.
Yeah. Just waiting him. He's just talking on the other end because you can't hear him. Sorry, Antonio. Give me a second.
The ticket sale has to be refunded by the club. When you're working at an auto parts shop or you're working at Videotron, if something goes wrong with some kind of device, it's not you that's giving back that money. It's Videotron.
Yeah.
So it cannot always be the players. Should the players make a donation? I agree 100%. Yes. But that has to be to each their own. Those players have their own families to take care of. They have to probably take care of many other families that we don't know of. So it cannot always be labeled the players. That's my thing. And I have that, and with the stadiums and Italy has been behind forever. We built stadiums in 1990, and we built them either for we weren't thinking ahead. Unfortunately, Italy was not thinking ahead. The Premiership, unfortunately, their stadiums weren't any better, guys. Let's face it. But they have the money and they have the capital to rebuild.
Yeah. Hold on, Steve, because it's This is we should have planned this out a bit better. Unless Antonio.
All right.
No, it's just Steve was talking about like, for the players. A lot of people are the first ones to talk about players, giving up their salaries, but the corporations, the companies have a lot to play in this too. So yes, players should be able to donate some money, take a salary cut, but the companies in the end, would it be big corporations, would it be the Walmarts of this world, or the Amazons, or even a company like, yes, to talk about a team, but a Milan is Milan, and all these owners of these teams, they should step up as well. That's what he was basically talking about there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. And especially Elliott, this group that is controlling AC Milan, those are multi-millionaire, billionaires, to be honest with you.
It's
billionaires,
and they should be able to save to give up a lot of that cost from over there. But in the end, companies should, just the way my boss paid out of pocket 1 extra week of pay to compensate for this weight and all this stuff. So these big corporations have to take the responsibilities. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Tony.
Let me just say a few things. Because there is a few things that there might be some confusion when we hear that some of those players, they might be cutting their salaries. I still am not quite clear whether it's the company or the ownership. For example, Juventus not paying 30% of the salary to the players so they can reduce the cost, or the players themselves demanding that the money that the società or the ownership, saves from not paying the players the full salary, those money, they go toward, the just cause, not a good cause, the just cause, the only cause, just benefiting those victims and all of those people that they lost their jobs, they lost their livelihood, and they might not see the light at the end of the tunnel, because that's the thing that scares me the most. At the end of the day, those are people pay to play, to play the things that everybody likes to do the most. I pay to play soccer. I'm a good player. And we pay to play. We have to pay the league. We have to pay for the uniforms. You have to pay the referee. Those guys are getting paid tremendous amount of money. And I just hope that they're not, I don't hear at the end of all of this process that whoever benefited from the reduction of the salary is the ownership only. Because the ownership not paying their salary should be putting the money into the big, into the big pot, and then distribute the money to the people that they lost. They lost their life, because the life cannot be brought back to begin with. But, you lose your job, you technically lose your life, because you're not going to be able to pay the rent, you're not going to be able to pay for the food, you're not going to be able to watch the TV, and you're not going to be able to know what the hell is going on with your team. So the least that they can do is just going to the very bottom of the people living day by day or week by week, and try to support these kind of people that they are suffering tremendously. And a lot of them, they're not going to be able to, I hope I'm wrong, but a lot of them, they're not going to be able to go back to, to normality. I just, I'm Italian. I was raised and born over there. I'm an FBI. I don't know if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Blooded Italian. Okay, so I was 28 when I came to the United States, and I know a hard life is over there. Was working as a fisherman every day, actually every night, going fishing with any kind of weather, and hard work. But it's what makes you grow and become a man when you're starting to deal with the nature.
Yeah.
But if you're coming from the very bottom, and at some point in your life you made money, and you turn the back to the very same people that you grew up with, and they were part of your society, that is the worst thing that you can do. Yeah. And a lot of those players, believe it or not, 99% of those players, they come from families that they had nothing, basically. And now is the time for them to turn the back and say, hey, listen, thank you for all of you have done. And now it's my time to do the job and support you guys the same way they were supported by the parents and by us too, because the tifosi, they are the main bloodstream for them.
Yeah. Steve, say something. I think I might have fixed. I want to see if you can hear Steve. Steve, go ahead.
Ando.
Can you hear him?
I can hear Steve. Yes. Hey, Steven, how are you?
Ando, how are you?
Bene, bene.
Good. Now you can hear me.
I wanted to change it up and not talk about this thing anymore. But I wanted to ask Antonio and Steve. I'm going to ask you once again this week, because yes, last week we were talking about jokingly, but now a couple of articles, guys. Icardi, would you take him? Yes or no? I know that these, they're saying, now it's a couple of rumors. Steve, last week, you said Senza Wanda. Antonio, I know you're a Milanista like us. Would you take him? Forget salary, would you take Mauro Icardi?
In a heartbeat.
Okay.
You got two pitchers with one stone. And let me tell you something. If you watch some of the previous podcasts, first of all, Icardi, he will be like for an AC Milan to take Pirlo away from Inter. You remember the way this whole thing happened, okay? So Icardi is one of the best forward in Europe, okay? So Icardi has been wronged by Inter. He's been wronged by Spalletti. He's been wronged by all of those, newcomers, especially the Juventus, the Marotta and company over there, including the Filipino guy. I don't know if he's Filipino, Chinese, the ownership, Zhang, whatever is his name. So this has been wronged. So for Icardi to be, first of all, the chance for Icardi to come into Milan, I don't think is reality, because Inter will rather to lose every single penny on Mauro that have Mauro come in and play for AC Milan and have Icardi scoring against them on the derby. They will die or something like that. Something like that happen. The thing that I really wanted to strike about this thing here. First of all, a lot of people, they disrespect Vandanara. Vandanara, she might be a spectacular lady, very sexy. I drool when I see all her picture on the La Gazzetta dello Sport. From time to time, everybody, they, instead of scrolling through the players, they're scrolling through all the pictures of Vandanara. She's gorgeous, okay? And she's very smart, okay? I think she's extremely smart. She knows how to pull the strings. She's not going to let anybody playing around with Icardi. Whatever Banda does, guys, is because Icardi told her to do it. She doesn't do anything without getting the green light from Maurizio.
No.
What do you guys think?
No. Ando, you're not going to pass this one past us. Wanda Nara, she wears the pants in that relationship. She destroyed. Icardi did not get wronged at Inter.
No,
Wanda Nara destroyed Icardi's career at Inter because she put her nose into the sacred place of calcio. She put her nose into the locker room. And she started all these little rumors, and she started this. Is she a beautiful lady? Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's pretty. Are we going to continue to see her on Tiki Tak? Absolutely not, because now she's underneath the Eiffel Tower. They're on vacation in Paris. If we talk about Icardi the player, again, we're repeating from last week, I take Icardi the player in a heartbeat. Icardi, with all that baggage of Wanda Nara and her soap opera and her telenovela, Un Posto al Sole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I leave Wanda Nara where she is in France, put a stipulation in his contract saying that she cannot come back till she stays out of the news for one full calendar year, which will not happen. Then she comes back. But the drama that Wanda Nara brings to Milan, unfortunately, is too heavy for a team that is unfortunately mentally unstable itself. We're not going to be able to add another mentally unstable person to this equation. It's going to just blow up.
So in that, for the way, Antonio, the way you're explaining it is that if you would take him, even though knowing, Wanda, whatever, would you take?
Absolutely.
So you would take a Balotelli? Let's say Balotelli 3-4 years ago, even know that he has a problem in it, you would still take these guys back? Cassano back in his Real Madrid days, as they were saying right now. You would take him even knowing that there's problems?
Yes. You needed the right coach that knows how to handle those kind of players. Let me tell you something. Okay, guys, listen. We agree with all the AC Milan fans over here. We are diehard fans over here. But I respectfully disagree with you guys. I'll tell you the reasons why. The talent cannot be substituted. You have a ball handler like Cassano. You just name it. He's one of my favorite players, probably
Because he's Baresi. Because it's Baresi. That's the only reason he's your favorite player.
You put Castano. Balotelli not as much, but I wouldn't mind seeing Balotelli. Castano, Balotelli, Icardi. Icardi will be perfect for AC Milan. And then let me tell you something. You have to judge a player for what he's capable to do on the field. All the rest, whether it's from time to time he's disrespectful, from time to time he goes to the discotheque at night. Maradona used to do much worse than that. Okay?
Whoa. Let's not put Maradona in the same bucket as Icardi, Balotelli, and Cassano. Maradona with minus 1 foot is better than Balotelli, Cassano, and Icardi together. We cannot put those things. The thing is, I agree with you, Anto. I agree with you. You have to judge the player for what he does on the field. Yes, I agree. The problem is look at a team like Inter. Inter this year was challenging for the Scudetto without their best player. Their best player right now is Mauro Icardi, and he plays at PSG. And this year, removing him, not him, the player, removing the distraction, removing everything that comes outside of the field, made them a better team. It's your proof. It's your proof right there.
No. I think you're wrong. I'm sorry.
No. You can't say I'm wrong. They were in second place. You can't say I'm wrong.
I love this. Go ahead.
I see it differently. Let me tell you why. First of all, even when under the Luther of Spalletti, Inter, he made it to the third or fourth place. Even though we for 1 point on the last 5 minutes of 2 years ago, we could have been on the Champions League. Okay, and bad luck is bad luck. There is nothing that let's not cry over spilled milk. Okay, so let me just put it this way for you guys. With Conte, with all the money that this guy is getting paid, $11 million a year. Okay, with the Marotta coming in and just taking a lot more money, with all the money that they spend, okay, the list is humongous. And they got a lot of players on a free transfer. But let me tell you something: you have to pay the salaries of those guys. Those guys, Inter, on my opinion, they stuck their neck out too far. Okay, and they're going to be paying the price. Number one, they overloaded the team with the players that of a certain caliber. And some of those players, you bench them 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or you give them 10 minutes, 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there, 10 minutes, or you don't even play them from time to time. Those guys, they're not going to last. They're going to go. Okay? That's number one. Number two, by bringing other players that are going to be sitting on the bench, like Ericsson, for example, is the perfect example. They did so much to bring this guy over, and the guy gets to play 20 minutes here, half an hour there. Sometimes he starts the game, sometimes he doesn't. It's a mess. You do not want to overload your team with superstars because Inter does not have the brain, it does not have the resources to deal and to mitigate. Who's going to be playing, who's not going to be playing. Inter season so far this year, and I'm so happy to be honest with you, it's been nothing but a failure. They are on third place, number one. Number two, they failed to win against the top team. Lazio is one of them. Juventus is the other one. And you know what? If our luck during the derby would have been a little better, we would have taken the derby from that too. That 4-2, it's a lie. You know that, right? It's just 4 mistakes or four good luck situations for them that they took it away. They came away from us.
Yeah,
everybody.
But that's the game, Anto. That's the game. That's the game, brother. The problem is that Inter, you say they made a mistake with Ericsson. The problem is that Inter brings in Ericsson in the second half of a game. You saw it in the derby. He hits the crossbar. We bring in Salchicha Maker. Salchicha Maker.
Salchicha Maker is the way Steve calls us. Salamaker. Salchicha Maker.
So you know what you could say, like, you know what, I like to call things down the middle. I hate Inter. Don't get me wrong. I'm not an Inter fan. But you could say live here on YouTube that Inter, and I'm willing to say it. It's unpopular opinion on a Milan podcast, but Inter is in a far better position than Milan is right now.
That's reality, Steve.
It's reality.
Inter is much better. They made
It's
the
reality. And
sacrifices.
we know throughout history that you don't have to beat the 1 and 2. You don't have to beat the 1 and 2. The 1 and 2 is 12 points. You have to beat everybody else. Now, the season wouldn't have continued, but I'll tell you what would have happened in the season. Lazio would have went on a downer. They were one injury away from finishing outside of that second place, probably third, probably fourth. And then Inter just takes the second place. To finish second place without your best player, guys, unfortunately, you have to tip your hat to these guys. These guys have Perisic out on loan to Bayern Munich. They're going to sell him. They took a risk. They took Lukaku. No one wanted Lukaku. We made fun of Lukaku for 3 weeks. He couldn't even control a ball at Inter. At Man United. And then at Inter, he scores goals. Not only scores goals, he was also providing assists. They purchased well. They purchased Lautaro Martinez, who they're going to sell to Barcelona for 80, 90, $100 million. You can't say that that's a failure. You can hate Marotta. You can hate Conte. But in the end, a job well done. Because you're gonna sell Icardi for a lot of money, Antonio. And all that money that you think that they spent, in the end, they're gonna come out on the plus. And in the end, that's what you need to come out, is on the plus. You need to be in the green. Milan, unfortunately, we've stacked our lineup for years, but we did a really good job at stacking our lineup.
Yeah.
When you stack with Seedorf and Serginho and Kaká and Shevchenko and Yankulovsky and so on and so forth, that's stacking your lineup. That's not scouting. That's money.
And we can talk about this for forever, guys. We gotta cut it short. But I love this discussion, Antonio. I think we might bring you on next time on a live YouTube and continue these discussions. But I wanted, before letting you go, I saw this nice thing that you guys are doing in the state of New York. The Milan Club New York is a part of it. Can you take the time to describe what you guys, what everybody's coming together?
You know what? First of all, let me just. I want to just say a few things, because the mom of one of our friends died just a day or 2 days ago. And this guy is Rocco. It's a spectacular guy. He worked with Sabino. You probably, if you go watch some of the episodes of IFTV, those are some of the nicest guys you want to meet, that you want to spend time together. So, but the mother of this guy here died, and as soon as I heard, my day went black. Okay, that was number thing that I wanted to say. Now, going back to the initiative of IFTV, Marco and Mike, they are two spectacular kids. Marco is Gaetano's son, and Mike is his friend. They went to school together. So they got into their head that they wanted to have the victim of the Italian disaster over there with the coronavirus, and they got into this conversation with Cannavaro, and everything started to move forward. They sold a lot of those shirts, and they donated 100% of the proceeds to the Croce Rossa Italiana, which is the Red Cross.
Nice.
So you know what? It's those guys, they went to school to do sport management, and they start their an idea to bring the culture in the United States on a different, not on a different level. I mean, to talk about culture the same way i tifosi in Italy, we talk the day after the game, we go to the bar, we get a cup of coffee, and we're yelling at each other. That was a penalty, that was not a penalty. This is the way we have a lot more technical analysis. I don't know if you've seen some of the podcasts, but those guys, they have big heart. They wear their hearts on their sleeves. I'm telling you, and I'm so proud to be part of that group.
Yeah,
I don't even know how they put up with me, but
well,
they,
you seem to be seem to be very popular with even our listeners here. Everybody's giving you shout outs and telling you hello here on the YouTube world. And before you talk about IFTV, yes, super fantastic guys. And I know you guys, I saw IFTV, I saw Milan Club New York, all these different types of clubs in the state of New York that are, you guys are going to collecting any kind of funds going straight to the coronavirus there in the state of New York, all the clubs, fan clubs in New York. And I find that very, very nice for you guys to do. So keep up the good work. To all
Yeah,
of you.
we will. So the same with you guys, because soon we're gonna try to get together and see if we can get something going all together, that if we can benefit some other funds to benefit someone, someone that we know that is going through a bad time. So as I was saying before, the Martin Mike, those guys. They will give the back, the shirt off their back, just to make sure that to see somebody else smile and share their cultural story. So now, I don't know if you seen Kudrone the other day at an interview with the guys, and Nesta called, and we have a lot of followers, Serginho. We have all the Atalanta team that is behind us. We know Derun's wife. She's a big follower of ours. I don't know. She sent us the shirt with all the Atalanta player and the coach. Oh, you know what? Before we get off, guys, I wanted to say something, because something is scaring me. I saw under the Gazzetta the other day that Spalletti might be a potential coach for AC Milan. I will cut my wrist if something like that happens.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one, but at least we have all these different types of rumors, and I want to tell you, thank you very much, Antonio. We'll definitely take a look. Maybe in the next couple of weeks, we'll do a live YouTube chat that we discovered recently, because we're not very technical, Steve and I. But thank you very much. God bless your daughter. I hope everybody's safe there, and keep doing what you guys are doing, and sending you guys much love from Montreal to New York.
Listen, you guys are the best. I got to tell you something. I deal with one of your friends over there on the Montreal AC Milan club. So we love everybody. You are an AC Milan fan, you're part of the family. And even if you're not an AC Milan fan, you will become an AC Milan fan, because if you hang around with the right, in Italy we say, if you go with the cripple, you become a cripple too. So I'm that cripple. So make sure that even the non-AC Milan fan, that will become AC Milan fan one day. But anyway, it was a pleasure speaking with all of you. And guys, don't forget that we're bleeding black and red, okay? So
sempre.
doing that.
Thank you very much.
Forza Milan, Antonio.
Forza Milan.
Ciao ragazzi, forza Milan.
Ciao.
Okay.
All right, so Presidente, we're definitely going over on this 45 minutes thing, and it's hard. Sorry about the beginning, guys. I figured out after you couldn't hear Steve, but guy likes to talk, right? He's on IFTV and everything, and he's struggling over there in New York, like most of New Yorkers, most of Americans, most everybody around the world. But Steve, yeah, I think we're going to post up the link. Milan Club New York is part of that, and all the different types of clubs.
So Milan Club, just to clarify there, Milan Club New York, their charity is different. So the IFTV guys have that charity where they were selling the T-shirts for the Red Cross. The guys at Milan Club New York, they've joined forces with a whole bunch of clubs and organizations, guys. So it's a fantastic cause. I'm going to just pull it up here. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Hold on, where's my shit?
Steve, Roberto saying that you got a 5 o'clock shadow from that time you were gone.
Yeah. I came back more than ever.
And yeah, IFTV agreed to be on the poster. That's what Faz is saying. But we'll try to post it up, Steve. At least for anybody that wants to donate anything to the cause, fantastic, and chapeau to those guys in New York. Steve, let's go through very quickly. What do we got? In the?
Yeah, but hold on. I can't read out the one of New York. I have it right here.
Yeah, go ahead. I thought you were still looking for it.
Yeah, so it's New York kicks coronavirus. So football supporter clubs against the virus. So I'm not going to name off all the clubs, but just looking at it quickly, basically a whole bunch of football supporting fan clubs in the area of New York. And I'm pretty sure New York is very big. Faz, please correct me if I'm wrong. There might be some in the outskirts. And it's a GoFundMe page that you can go on. We'll post out the link. We'll retweet Milan Club New York's links. So they're raising money for this. It seems like they're joining up. I see a Lyon sign. I see a PSG sign. I see the evil Liverpool sign. IFTV is on there as well. Sampdoria, Roma, so there's a whole bunch of supporting fan clubs that are getting together. They have a cool little intro video. So please, guys, if you can, I know it's tough times for everybody, but if you can, donate to this great cause, and the cause is basically they're gonna help out anybody that they could help out, right? So I'm pretty sure once you go in, it's more specific to exactly who they're gonna be helping out. It's gonna once they collect all their money, they'll be donating that. So it's a fantastic cause.
And I think I could speak for both of us, Steve. Definitely our brioche of our feel good moment of the week, seeing everybody come together for that.
Exactly. So this was my brioche of the week there. So I'm kind of happy Antonio went the other way with IFTV, so I could give my brioche to Faz and Kumbarajic and all those guys at Milan Club New York there. So he's blasting me all kinds of on the comments, all kinds of the clubs, River Plate, Betis, Chelsea, all these fan supporter groups coming together, and it's the New York City healthcare workers that they're going to be donating to. Even $1, guys. Anything you can give. I know the times are hard for everybody who has lost their job, but these guys are doing a great initiative to help out these frontline people. You know, like Antonio's daughter. You know,
Yeah.
a doctor in the line of fire of this really crappy virus that needs to go away. Right. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, and call Presidente, see if he opens up the safe, see how much money we got.
President has to splash the cash over here. If he gives you anything less than $100, I'm telling you, we're gonna go after him.
Simon has a fantastic question here. A what if, Steve? You must choose one of these to sign to a 15-year deal for Milan worth $20 million a year. These are your only two choices.
That's the worst question in the world. It's the best question we've ever had for the worst question we've ever had.
Giampiero Ventura as coach or Mirabelli as direttore sportivo? Which one do you choose and why?
For a 15-year contract.
15 years.
And you know what? I think the less damage would come from Ventura because we would make him coach for a year. We would be absolutely atrocious, and I would eat the salary of that coach. But in a year, we saw Mirabelli, unfortunately, do more damage than good.
If I had to choose, I will probably Mirabelli, because how many mistakes can you possibly do? You're bound to do a good one from over there, where Ventura has proven to us, even with the best Italian players, couldn't figure out a national team. So yeah, I would go with Mirabelli, even though it hurts to say. Our friend the Snake, Francis, let's say financial fair play would have never been implemented. How would the current European scene look like? Would Inter and Milan be contenders for Champions League? Would Man City or PSG finally have put their hands on a European crowd? Would Messi be playing at Milan? Oh, man. I'm not sure about Messi playing at Milan, but Steve, if there was no financial fair play, I don't think Milan and Inter would have been, 6th to 10th in the last 5 to 6 years to say, but...
Yeah, I think it's a tough question because Elliott might be in the position to buy itself out of a problem. The problem is we need to get someone intelligent to buy us out of this problem. It's not Elliott and the fund that's going to buy us out.
But he's saying, what if there was no financial fair play whatsoever?
But the thing is still someone has to purchase these players. Could you imagine Mirabelli with no financial fair play?
Yeah. So in the end, teams would have probably, with no financial fair play, teams would have probably folded. Teams would probably folded, from money, revenue, and then what? Asking government for buyout.
His question's more probably geared towards the fact of would Milan and Inter and these teams have been able to purchase a trophy? Like Man City basically buying everybody. Messi at Milan. And to be very honest, again, I don't know why this is happening, this podcast, but if I see Messi somewhere, to be very honest, it would be Inter because they have that Argentinian connection. It's that Zanetti.
Yeah.
And money would have to blow him away. If I'm Milan, I would do everything in my power not to make that happen. But unfortunately, it looks like, if you would go anywhere, I think he would go. I think he would end up at Inter.
I definitely see that more than
unless Pep comes to Milan, then we evened out the playing field.
All right.
And on that note, condolences to the Guardiola family for the passing of his mother.
Yeah, she passed away, I believe, yesterday from coronavirus. 82 years old there in Barcelona. So, guys, this is real. It's as real as it can get. Um, Milan Mo saying it was reported that despite Tonali, also Zaniolo and Castrovilli liked Milan growing up, and they would like to play with Kaká's number 22 on the back. Who of them would you rather have at Milan? So, Tonali, Zaniolo, and Castrovilli.
All of them. Can we take them all?
No, only one.
I think the because of his injury, I hesitated. But if he wouldn't have gotten injured, Zaniolo would have been my choice, just because he was the most proven of the three. The most bang for your buck and upgrade is Tonali.
I would probably go with Tonali because it's been that one player, and it's not like we see him like every single week playing, but he seems to play that kind of Pirlo position where we haven't had that kind of player in midfield for so many years. Where Zaniolo, I'm not saying that we
But
have Zaniolo,
but again, the Tonali signing is dangerous. It's dangerous because we see everybody on the chat Tonali all day. Guys, you're getting Tonali. You're not getting Pirlo. We made that mistake with Montolivo. We made that same mistake with Locatelli. There is no other Pirlo. You're getting Tonali.
Yeah, it's but 40 million. Would you pay?
40 million is a deal.
40 million, I think, in this day and age.
In this day and age, is a deal.
It's a deal. Francis again. I'm going to take him one last one this week. I rewatched Milan versus Manchester United 2007 Champions League second leg. Complete performance by Milan. Exceptional first half. For your younger listeners, can you suggest another top game that Milan played in their glory days?
Ooh.
Oh man, it's a good one, but would definitely. We talked about that derby, the down to nothing, coming back 3-2. Those holds fantastic memories. But I would probably do Steve Champions League 2003, the finals against Juve. I think that comes to mind. But I don't know. Do you have any special games you remember from Milan?
Francis thought he was gonna outdo me on my own podcast.
Why?
No, because he sneak attack, right? He sends these questions knowing that we're gonna might stumble. We do homework, right? Vinny, you do homework, I do homework. We look, we see. I had to just go check the dates, but I had the games, right? I could go back. We're seeing Milan, Real Madrid 5-0, 1989 from the FAS, but the youth won't understand that soccer. So I went back. You look at the Barcelona thrashing. You look at the Ajax thrashing in 1968. We can't go that back. I cannot personally go that back.
No.
Right?
That's
but
true.
if I have to say, for someone as a Milan fan to get the full Milan experience, okay? You guys are going to think I'm crazy, but the Champions League in Istanbul against Liverpool. And I'm going to tell you my reasoning why. That was 75 minutes of absolutely perfect soccer.
75 minutes of perfect soccer.
We were up 3-0 up until the 70th-minute mark, where everything started to crumble.
I think before that, but why would you do that? Like for what the emotion, the roller coaster of emotions we went through it.
It's not the roller coaster of emotion. It's the way Milan approached that final. For whatever reason, the mental breakdown is a piece of it. But if you watch from beginning to once the crumble starts to happen, it's flawless soccer. It's absolutely unbelievable what they did to that Liverpool side. They got back and they won. And you could go easy. You could go. Milan against Arsenal 4-0. You can go. There's so many. I looked at so many. There's Bayern Munich. We smashed them 4-0. But those were different times.
Yeah, and Frank would like to correct you. 1969, not 1968.
It's 68-69, Frank. You're correcting peanuts and cracker jacks there, Frankie.
We said our brioshkis of the week. How about our indigestion, Steve? Indigestions of the week.
Indigestion of the week is to be very honest, is the league's not coming to the decision that unfortunately soccer will not be played this year.
Yeah, definitely. And I know, like I heard indigestion was, I believe, President Trump had a conference call with all the major sports leaders and talk about, what's going on and what we're planning maybe for. I just found it pretty stupid because it's like I could understand that sports is a very important part of daily life of people disconnecting. But at this time, right now, the way the situation is in the United States, there's nothing else better that could be done to have a conference call with all the major heads of the leagues. I don't know. That one to me just completely baffled me. I didn't understand that one there. So
I didn't understand that. I understand that unfortunately sports does bring up the morale of everybody. Like you see that when I'll give you an example. 9/11, they played quickly after or shortly after. There wasn't that much of a delay. It kind of uplifted the nation, the states, Canada, North America. We love our live sports. We love hockey. We love football. We love basketball. I get where he's gonna go. Like he needs to see how he can uplift this nation somehow. But I don't think sports, unfortunately, is the way to go right now. Maybe later on in the summer and see if someone could, if NFL could start on time. I get it. NHL, yes. Basketball, yes. What's gonna happen with baseball? Baseball's played in the summer. Baseball's in the open air. A lot of people are they gonna play?
who the hell knows? And
Who the hell knows?
on a on a side note, another indigestion before we let you go. Dear Rai Televisione, for the sake of Mamma Vera, your mom, for the sake of my father, my grandmother, can you put something else on this freaking channel? Always the same shows. People are at home. Put Sanremo 1985 for them. I just feel bad because they just keep on watching the exact same shit over.
Coronavirus. Oh my God.
Well, put Sanremo 1985 to 1990 as a marathon. Trust me, they'll watch it. Guys, thank you very much once again for staying with us. It's been a long one, but
we apologize with the technical difficulties.
Yeah, and we'll see if we can maybe get whoever we get next week. We can now I have to click add. We can click the link. They'll be on.
We have for next week, and he's well versed in the technologies that he can be on live with us. So I think we'll see 3 panels. I'll be a little bit skinnier for once in my life, and it's okay.
And on that note, hopefully Presidente likes the audio, Steve. Hopefully from that.
Guys, everybody out there in Twitter land and YouTube land, pray for us that the sound quality is to the liking of Lord Presidente. Or us, guys, I don't know. I think he's going to cut the cord. He's going to pull the plug on the podcast, and we're going to have to try to do something a little bit less high tech, no?
And 100%. And maybe for New York, what we're going to do, we're going to sign. I'm going to sign this beautiful maroon turtleneck, Pioli edition. We'll send it off and we'll wrap it off, Steve. We'll get
it. Raffle it off if Kumbaricic and the clubs want to raffle off the Milan Weekly Podcast turtlenecks. That could be an idea.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have yourselves a pleasant evening. Stay safe. State a casa. Don't go out. And rewatch WrestleMania from this weekend. It was pretty interesting. Steve, have yourself a good night. We'll talk. We'll see if we could have nothing to do this week. We know how to do this. So Club Uomo, one of our sponsors, because Steve did not want to show his fantastic hair. You see, Steve, just let it go, man. Let it go. Guys, mille grazie. Ovunque.
Buona Pasqua a tutti.
Yes, happy Easter to everybody. Don't forget, Friday, don't eat any meat. Well, that's what they say. Ovunque sempre.
Forza Milan.
Ciao, guys.